Okay, we are live.
We don't have our president or
we,
our vice
we don't have president or vice president.
Okay.
Well, I can do my best. This is February 24th, park board meeting. Attendance,
Roger Farrell.
Kim Farga.
Karen Cody.
okay, and we have Keith and Mark missing tonight. Everybody get a chance to review the minutes.
Yes.
Okay, any changes or anything like that?
I can see.
Okay,
I
so,
move that we approve the minutes.
I
Okay.
second it.
okay. Well, I didn't know if Tristan would make it tonight or not. I don't know if you guys know Tristan King or not. He came to us last week, I believe, and he's trying to get a middle school aged softball team together. And most of the middle schools are not associated with their middle school softball team. So it's kind of like a middle school age travel team. I know that Melinda was telling me that South Whitley's is connected and gave him some information that way. But he wanted to see if we were able to, if he would be able to have a field, be able to have games and what that looked like. So we sat down, we kind of, talked that through. The reason I'm bringing it here is because I know that we went through about a year ago and we tried to get the whole on turf thing figured out so our kids would have fields to practice on. So that's kind of what the delicate issue is. Is this is something he was wanting to start. I didn't know if he'd be here tonight to explain it or not. So hopefully I'm explaining it as good as I can. I guess that's where I was at with it is that I understand, but I just don't want to box us in again to where our normal kids, our league per se, doesn't have the practice times and things of that nature. So I guess since Tristan is not here, I'll just kind of give you that information, and if I hear from him again, I'll see if I can't get him to come. It would be better if he gave you guys the information like Nate did.
Well,
So.
quick question.
Mhm.
Middle school age, and is this for the county? Like, you had mentioned Whitco. I mean,
It wouldn't be per se. What it is I don't know if you're familiar with the Screaming Eagles. There's all these little. I don't want to say this. All these little. I just want to say that there's quite a few people that have made travel ball teams.
yeah.
Because they wanted to be more competitive than Park League, and so one of them happens to be the Screaming Eagles that is here in town, and it's for Columbia City.
Okay.
I don't think Tristan was saying that it's going to be like for Whitco or for Cherubusco, but there might be some kids, from out and around the county that go to that. And I know that we do a thing down at the Vole for kind of similar with boys baseball. I can't think of their name offhand, but they are able to use that field down there. And we have an agreement with them that we, for how many boys, they give us X amount of money because those boys would be playing in our program.
Mhm.
So they didn't want to take away from us monetarily wise if they're going to have them down there. So that's kind of what we worked out with them. That was something that Mark had going before. So it kind of was one of those things we just kind of carried on, but we made sure that we made the agreement a little bit better. So that's where we're at with Tristan. I guess that'll just give you guys something to think about if he comes back to it. I do know with the new high school coach, Mr. McGehee, he mentioned his name, so I'm sure that they're talking and trying to get, because once for instance, if the person that put the Screaming Eagles together, if their children then get old enough to where they're not in it, then they don't really want to be, so they either find someone to replace them at that level, or another team pops up. And so that's kind of what kind of happens as it goes around. So so we'll just table that then until I hear back from Tristan. Father-daughter dance went over very well. I think going into next year's father-daughter dance, even mother-son, we're gonna I would like to have the board kind of give us some bookends, if you will, because we're trying to keep the event as pure as possible. But in this day and age, it's very hard to do. We've had some issues come up this last year, and so I think it would be best if it's a board decision, then it is our decision on the fly. When a parent calls in and says, you know, my boy would like to go to the father-daughter dance, and then we have to figure out how that goes. I just think that it's a very touchy situation. We had that same situation happen this year. In mother-son, we've had the same thing. So it's just something that going forward, I think we're gonna have to have some guidance as to what a collective body thinks,
Yeah.
instead of us that are just here, you know, all the time. So, but it was an outstanding event. We had 2 nights. The food lines were very quick. Usually that takes a lot of time, but they were, you know, done and through that line, and then they were done through the photographs. I felt like this year it just went really, really smooth. So Andrea and Melinda did a great job keeping everything in line. We do have to tweak the candy bar. That got a little backed up, but we can take care of that.
Both nights sold out?
Both nights were sold out, yes.
That's nice.
And when we say sold out, we shoot for 400 a night, and that's our cutoff. And then of course with volunteers and, you know, things like that, you're looking at, you know, close to 450 people inside the 4-H grounds on Friday and Saturday night.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
it is, and that's why we don't want some bad apples to ruin the whole thing. I mean, you get 1 or 2 out of
Right.
450. I mean, but still, it's that 1 or 2 that can make a problem. So
I know it's a big event and they work really hard. Is it possible to have something later or whatever where you just have a parent-child dance?
we
know.
have thrown out, because we've seen.
Or like, I know my daughter goes to the mother-son
Mhm,
thing,
mhm.
and I know there are a lot of girls that would love to go to that too. She loves that event, you
Mhm,
know?
mhm.
Is it possible to still have those dedicated nights, but then to throw in something else where any parent, child, I don't know.
We
I don't
we
know.
have talked about it this year. I know there's some other parks departments that have the mother-son, they have father-daughter, and then they have family.
Yeah.
The hard thing is to make it special.
Mhm.
That's kind of where the zeal is for the mother-son, is it's something special that that the mother and the son that normally doesn't get to do things together
Right.
get to
Their
do,
thing.
and the same, you know, vice versa. And you know, the moms really want to come to the father-daughter, but the moms really want to come because they want to dress up,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And that's and then you know, so it has, each one has its own zeal, and just right up in the front, you know, how do you make that have something?
Yeah.
You know, it's a tough situation.
Right.
It's a tough situation. So,
I wonder how many you would have
Yeah.
if you were
I
to
don't-
schedule another family.
mhm,
I know, I mean, there are plenty of family things to do,
mhm,
yeah.
mhm. Yeah, and that's
It is
it's
hard.
and that's the hardest thing is that, you know, to keep the, I don't know, someone said the pureness, but it's not really the pureness. It's to keep that zeal and to keep that, the reason why they want to go to it, because it's the only thing around that's like it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
You know,
And
it's just
it's
special.
special.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's what I was gonna say. This is special. It's their thing.
Mhm.
And if we add something else, is it going to take it away from the
Mhm.
specialty of
Right.
these two?
Right. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up again, you know, and let you know that when we get closer to that time, we'll be trying to make some
Mhm.
definite guidelines there. Soccer. Now, I don't know if you guys were fully aware of what transpired, but there was a soccer club, and we ended up taking it when Mark was still director, and then we just didn't see the benefit. And the biggest thing was is we, and I mean we, everybody that was here for a while, Melinda, myself, and Andrea, we were always told that we never did anything that somebody else did in the community because we didn't want to take away from their event. Well, we also, when it's a park program, everyone gets to play. You don't have cuts. And so between the issue of cuts and the issue that we were taking the YMCA program, soccer program, we sat down and actually talked to the Y. And they got all the information, and the Greater Fort Wayne now is doing, if one is doing it, then they're all doing it. So Columbia City can't just do this program, Fort Wayne or whatever has to do it as well. They didn't want to go that route. So they're still keeping their, because they thought it'd be great. They could have a competitive league, you know, to be in, and then the kids that weren't quite there yet could then play in their regular league, and then maybe the next year they'd be able to play in that league. But because of the way they're structured now, that wasn't going to work for them. So we said that we couldn't do that anymore. So the coaches got together and kind of divvied up some of the responsibilities in that. And then I think his name was Craig. He came in and talked to me because the whole time I'm like, you know, I'm open to talk, you know, and help out what I can. I'm just saying we can't be a part of it. So we sat and we talked, and they're going to continue to use our fields and our, you know, goals. We will continue to paint them for them, and we're making it just like it is for like a baseball tournament. They're going to pay to be able to rent our fields and things of that nature. So, and I wanted to
So
give.
the Y is paying?
No.
So the Y is not doing it?
No, the Y is not doing it.
Okay,
It
this
is the soccer program that we had. Those coaches
Okay,
got together,
so
and
they're doing kind of their own little
they're
thing?
doing their own thing. And I wanted to make sure that they kind of got first chance at the fields, because I know we talked to Nate about rugby, and so So I wanted them to have first chance. I just didn't want to like cut them clean out. And so that's what we've come to the agreement upon, is they're gonna rent those, from us. Basically the same situation that we had. It's just that they're having to, they're doing registration, they're doing uniforms, they're doing the insurances, they're doing all that part of it. We're just supplying, they're renting the fields from us.
Okay.
So,
Is that how we presented it to Nate also?
well,
That-
I did. I
we-
presented it to him as that
Okay.
that's one thing we could do. But I said, we're getting so short on space.
Right,
And, even you guys, when he was here, it takes up a lot of space to do
It does.
rugby.
Yeah.
It's a big area. So,
and he needed what, 2 nights?
I believe it was.
Was
Yeah.
it Tuesday and Thursday night?
Tuesday, Thursday.
well, and then games too.
Oh,
He was gonna have,
Oh, he was gonna host games?
Yeah,
Mhm.
weekend in May and field Tuesdays and Thursdays.
so see, there's, yeah, for not having enough space, that's gonna take away.
right, and that's what we got into, with the baseball. And everybody just sees that we got all this, oh, you guys got this. Well, yeah, but it's already been, it's being used, or already been spoken for,
Right.
to use.
So what is the soccer, what are their days and
They go every night.
every night?
To my understanding, they go every night.
Okay,
And it may not be the same age that goes every night. Like, I don't know, younger ones go Monday and Wednesdays, and the older ones go Tuesday, Thursdays, something like that. And then they also have games. And they have them on Saturdays and
Saturdays.
Sundays.
okay.
Saturdays and Sundays games. So,
But Nate was only wanting one, is that what you said, one Saturday?
Well, he talked about a weekend in May using the
Weekend in
football
May.
field.
Okay. Oh, I see that.
Does the Y use any of our fields for soccer?
mhm.
Okay.
They use the ones over at the park. They're
Yeah.
the big open area where we let the
Right.
fireworks off. That's
And
where
so
they
where
put
will
their
these
old.
guys use?
They'll be over here.
Oh, okay. I
Mhm.
see.
Mhm. So they'll continue to play on the practice field and the football field in the spring,
Mhm.
and in the fall they move to the back fields.
Yeah.
Is kind of what they had
Okay.
in rotation. And then, and that's another reason why I was hoping that the Y would take something and do that. Because that's where, we brought up the dog park again. That's where the dog park's slated to go. If that goes, then there goes the Y's area to play with the bigger kids.
Mm.
So I was trying to try to manage that before it happened, and I don't know yet. There's that area that's back there that was slated for a dog park. I've looked into just briefly around the old skate park,
Yeah, you talked about that yeah.
because that has some of the stuff. There's been some concerns raised, so I'm going through those right now and seeing how it'll affect the concerns. How will that affect the dogs and the people around? So I'm not quite through all that yet, but that's kind of one of those. It's a sweet spot because it has just about everything we can get to, but you have ball games possible, and then you have kids playing on the playground that can run over to the fencing, things. There's a couple other things I can't remember offhand that they just was questioning. And personally, if your dog is a little crazy because a kid runs up to the fence, then you probably got other problems. But
Yeah.
but some dogs are skittish that way.
But it's nice that it doesn't take away a field.
It does. It
Yeah.
keeps us.
I like that.
It keeps us wide open.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest. I don't know if we can set fireworks off inside the dog park.
No.
Oh, that would,
I don't know. You know, so as soon as that goes, then we have to try to find out where to light them off back there. And there's restrictions on that. So it's just not as easy as saying, yeah, this is where we're going to go to and put it right there.
You know, it's amazing that we've gotten all of this acreage.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not enough
And,
room?
and it's not enough.
Mhm.
How did we do it before?
And aren't we like the largest per capita park? When we,
I'm not sure.
I think I remember Tad telling me that. We're
Really?
like, once we get it done, we'll be like per capita, we'll have the largest park in the state of Indiana.
Yeah.
And yet we're still trying to plug things in. And I guess that's a good problem,
Uh-huh.
City park.
but then,
Yeah. Do we own all the woods?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's like 5 acres for sale that, I'll have to look it up. We swore it's out there in the woods, and we were trying to figure that out the other
Really?
day. Yeah.
To my knowledge, we go all the way to the river
Yeah. That's
and
what
we
I
take
thought,
up
too.
all the woods. The only place that it gets to where I would question it is like over beside Reed's house there, and the city has a pump station there. It's behind the condos,
yes,
kind of right in there. But I don't believe that's 5 acres.
no, I can't be.
That's not
I
big enough.
don't think that's 5 acres.
So
And the only other where there might be a question is the addition that's, Brennan's.
Brennan's.
addition.
yeah, that's got a pretty hard line
I
fence.
think they're, yeah, I,
And that may be,
Maybe somebody's just mistaken too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that happens a lot.
mhm.
They see something up and then they're, word of mouth gets crazy.
Did you see that on Zillow?
that's what I'm gonna ask my son-in-law
Mhm.
where he found that, because we were looking at the map and it sure looked like it was there,
Hmm.
but that didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, as far as I understand, the only real oddity is I don't know if you guys know where Cohuts live, but it's by the substation, and the property actually goes along the fence, and then it jets out and goes over, and then comes back, and then follows. So
Mm.
if you didn't know that, which we didn't, until Sandy got a hold of us and asked if we would come over and mow that, because they were mowing it and they didn't want to mow it any longer, and that is the property line. So we were like, yeah, we should mow that. So we started mowing that over there, but it's kind of out of the way. So I don't know if there's any questions on the soccer or not.
I'm glad it's worked out.
Yeah, I'm glad that I believe his name was Craig. I'm glad that he came in and talked. And we were able to work things out. I mean, I wasn't wanting to get rid of the whole thing. It wasn't that. And I wanted to make sure that they had first shot at doing that. So another exciting thing coming up is, as you see there, we're having. I reached out. I've been wanting to do this since I got put in the position, is actually having area park directors get together and have like a group and say, this is what we're encountering, what are you encountering? The part that I didn't realize about it is one of the gentlemen that's coming is Nick. He's from New Haven, but they're not ran by their city. They're by their county. So they just take the city's name for the park. So he has a totally different way of having to look at things than myself or the park director in Bluffton. So that kind of gives us an added a twist. Brandy from Bluffton, she's going to be part of it. We've got a gentleman from Decatur. We've got, I believe, Adam from Wabash. So we got several that want to get on in this first initial. So I was able to send out an email, kind of get everybody gathered up. I saw them at IPRA and talked to them more about it down there.
I think that's an excellent idea.
That
So,
is a great
I
idea.
had, yeah,
yeah, so
that's a great idea.
Yeah. Good
So
job.
March 4th, we'll be in here. We'll have our first, whatever, like, I know the mayor has the mayor roundtable, and
Mhm.
maybe it's park director roundtable, I don't know, but we're gonna have our first informational meeting, and hopefully that sticks.
And
Because Bluffton's doing some stuff that we're gonna end up doing with our amphitheater, they're already doing it, you know? They are, been up here for the pool, we're already doing the pool, so why reinvent the wheel
Right.
Right,
when you don't necessarily have to?
Yeah.
And it sounds like those are cities more or less the size that we are.
yeah.
Correct,
Yeah.
that's what I went for.
And that,
Mhm.
that is,
Mhm.
that's cool.
Yeah, and I reached out to Plymouth, and I can't remember what else, who else I reached out to. But that was the prerequisite for me to reach out, was I wanted people the same size of us, or close. And as soon as Brandy was talking to the gentleman in Bluffton, he'd only been for like 5 months, and he's like, "Oh, that'll be fantastic," you know. So we're gonna have that here on March 4th.
I'm anxious to hear how that goes.
I'm excited. I'm excited to. Oh, and Huntington will be here. Steve, he's already got questions. He already had some questions. He said, if you guys, you know, if we can have the answers to these, he said that'd help me out greatly. So, you know, we're already coming into this.
That's a great idea to
Yeah, it
put
is.
out, like, okay, what are you interested in?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And put it out there so people can look at it before they come and
Yep.
be like, oh, I have information on this.
Yep. You know, some salary information and things like that. We can already have that gathered, and it can be, you know, not necessarily a quick meeting, but it's not something that's going to run forever, trying to dig stuff up and things
Right.
throughout the meeting. So,
Yeah.
yeah. We did kind of have a blow to us yesterday. I got a text message. Megan DeVito no longer be our swim coach. She's gotten busier, and she did a great job last year, and so she reached out to me last night and said that she was giving me a heads up that she wasn't going to be able to do it this year. So if you know of anybody,
Okay, yeah, I'll
That-
put that out there.
if Tad knows about anybody, we're gonna talk with her. I'm gonna talk with her Wednesday to try to see. She said that she'd still be part of the league information and going to those informational meetings right now, but she wasn't gonna be able to carry on throughout the year. So we're kind of behind the 8 ball.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, yeah, you are definitely, aren't
Uh-huh.
you?
Yeah, and what I
Wow.
really want to try to do is get a swim committee meeting quickly. If not the end of this week, next week, and let everybody know there what's going on, so they can also help try to prepare for the upcoming summer.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I'll, put some fillers out for
okay,
some people and see if I
Yeah.
can find you somebody.
that'd be great. That'd be great. That's a whole different world I'm not
Might-
a
yeah,
part of. it just isn't.
Right.
So we talked about let's see, I don't understand. I must have put two things together there. I did. So we talked about the rugby already.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah. Oh, the skate park. They are back on it today.
I
saw
saw them
that.
out there, yeah.
Yeah, they've done a lot of work. We had a construction meeting with them. All these weeks are running together. I think maybe it was the first of last week when it was still really nice and warm out. They've got some things they wanted to adjust. The guy that's building it says, you know, it'll be nicer if you adjust it, you know, 8 inches in certain places or 6 inches here. And we're like, well, you know, what does that entail? And if it's not a whole lot, let's do it. You're the one that does this for a living. You know, if you think it's gonna be a good idea, then we should listen, so. His name is Bart. He's been a pretty upfront guy.
And he the ones who's done all the other part, like they've traveled doing this?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Matter of fact, he, last week, if it was last week, I'm pretty sure it was, he was going to leave here and get another job looked at and kind of marked out and then come back. So that he's the guy that goes around and like gets them going. He's the foreman while they're here, and he's very knowledgeable.
Can you
So-
remind me what the name of the
Hunger,
Hunger?
Mhm.
Okay.
because I always want to say Hunger Games.
I know. Hunger Skate Park, and so they just travel all over the country.
They do. They went from Kendallville to Utah, and
Wow.
then to Muncie,
Oh,
and then to
really?
us. So
Okay,
Wow.
so they do a lot here in the Midwest.
they do. Yep. And they get some really. I'm sure they get some really. I don't know the lingo a whole lot, but radical
Yeah.
ones probably out west. Here they say this is kind of more like a rolling pump track, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that love it.
Yeah.
With the kind of vertical that they're having in that bowl area, that's going to be some really,
Hmm.
really good stuff.
I don't believe I'll be trying that.
I don't know if you do, let me know so I can film it.
Yeah, that'd be a good one to film.
Well, I get 10, you get 10. We'll put it on AFV.
There
We'll
you go.
get 20. Yeah. So the upgrade to the electrical box, that was happening this morning. They got the permits and everything. They've tracked down some wires here and there, and they were actually installing the new box. I got a phone call before I came that they were done. They didn't think they were going to be done until tomorrow with the upgrade of the box. So they're done upgrading the box. Now they just have to go through and tidy everything back up, and then we'll have a really good base to start from to add the Wi-Fi. They're getting ready to add the server room over there so that the IT guy says it's 84 acres, which give or take, I'm sure. But that building will service public Wi-Fi for the entire Eagle Park.
Nice.
So, if that's where it's going to start and stay, then let's make it so we can understand it, right?
Yeah, there you go.
We're getting ready for baseball and softball. Things are just going as normal there. I mean, we're having committee meetings. The committee members are asking for changes in some rules, change in some equipment, some of the mounds for boys. They'd like to see different mound here and there. They just sit around, they talk about how that'll affect and impact what's best for the child that's playing, whether being up on a mound is good for a young person to come off and have that pounding. Is it something that's needed so they can get used to it so when they get to the higher levels? So they sit around and there's, I think there's two committees that have 7 to 9 on them. Keith would actually be able to tell me. He's no longer on the softball committee, but he was on there for years and made a huge difference. So he'd be able to tell me how many, but I'm 7 or 9. And they sit around, they go through everything like that. And then during the season, if there's an issue, then they come together and they work through the problem to get it corrected. Trying to think if there's anything else off the top of my head. You guys have any questions or anything that you've heard? Obviously 5 acres for
No,
sale.
he sent me something else. It's like, that's not what I was talking about.
It would just be a little fence around it.
No, I don't.
I don't have any.
And of course I get done with the meetings and then the next day I'm always like, I should have done this or I should have done
Oh.
that, you know, so.
Well, there's always another meeting.
Yeah, I know.
There's always March 24th.
I know, there is, there is.
So we're getting into busy season.
We are,
Yeah.
we very much are. They will be, let's see. Around spring break is usually when we start looking at pool stuff as far as the equipment and starting to kind of pull it out of mothballs, if you will. And then by the end of April, we're fully getting it ready. I've had a gentleman from Cherubusco area, Sage Shively. He's with the fire department there, and they sent him to do boat rescue and water situational type things, and they need a deep end. And again, our pool is so scheduled that he needs 4 hours of time to be able to do that, and it's on a Saturday, and that's usually when our swim team practices, you know, in the morning. And then even if they have
Practice on Saturday morning.
they don't.
No, I think it's just Monday through Friday.
Okay. Well, see,
I'm
again,
pretty sure.
that's why I was trying to get with Megan and
Oh,
find out
yeah.
too. Because if we can, they need to do like underwater rescue, and it'll be people from all around will come and get
Oh.
certified.
Okay.
Like he's one of a couple that are certified for Northern Indiana.
Oh.
They sent him to go do that. He's also on the Huntertown Fire Department full time, so that's what his job is.
Mm.
So I'm talking with him, trying to get the time in the pool if we can.
They usually go to swim meets on Saturdays,
Okay.
and that's usually the only, like, well, I guess I take that back. They do invitationals on Saturday, and then Tuesday, Thursday night. But I don't think they practice on Saturday unless something changed.
I was
Since
just
I've
gonna
been
make
there.
sure. Yeah, I was just gonna make sure, and then
Yeah.
since we're in between, I can always kind of block that out and let the new person know you're not gonna be able to have practice this morning because
Right.
they're
I have something else.
there's something
you
else
go.
is gonna happen. So that might be our way in.
Right.
But they're having inflatable kayaks. I asked them if anything would damage the pool that they would have, like wood paddles or anything like that, and he said no, those are all plastic, and the kayaks are inflatable. So, I mean, it sounds like they
Yeah.
are trying to, but they need that deep area, and he knows it's bad timing because they have to do open water, and he got Blue Lake Campground to say that he could do open water training up there, and that's right when they're going to have camping season.
Oh,
You know, so he's understanding the whole
right.
having to work around stuff. So.
Yeah.
But that was one thing I was going to mention to you as well. That we might be busy here on a Saturday morning with several people from. It's got pretty far reaches. South Bend area and stuff is coming this way, and
When is that happening?
I don't know the dates right off the top of my head, but it's coming. I believe it's in July, because I was even thinking that swim team might even be done,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they don't get done till the end of July normally. It depends on the invitationals. So
Right.
so that's going to be a kind of a hit and miss idea. That's why I wanted to get around. So we'll get that all ironed out here next, hopefully a couple days, and be able to let them know.
Yeah.
Going forward.
Too bad they couldn't do it in August when
Right.
they are completely done.
Right.
Swim and
Well, and you know it's hard enough, you know, getting a few people's schedules together, and then you go and you try to get all these other people's schedules together, and it's nuts. And haven't heard any more on amphitheater or anything.
Mhm.
So still just know that it's being conceptualized. So,
So what all is going to be done this summer? The skate park?
the skate park for sure
Mm-hmm.
will be done this summer.
Is that's the big thing that we?
Yeah,
Okay.
the skate park will be done actually this spring.
Good.
So, every amphitheater and that, the dates are starting to
Mm-hmm.
float. But the only thing for sure is the skate park.
Okay.
So with the skate park, it'll be the concrete sidewalks, and so that area to the north of the silt fence, that's that black fence that runs through,
Mhm.
that will be finished. That'll be done. Grass will be growing, it'll be mowed, it'll have some landscaping
Good.
features, it'll be a continuous work that way, but it will be done, and then this part will be ready to be developed
Mm.
or constructed.
A lot of work,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things.
A lot of moving parts,
Mhm.
yeah, and a lot of moving parts. So,
Good job. But it'll be nice in the end.
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm,
I really think it will be.
I think it's already making a difference. You know, the pickleball courts and the,
Yeah.
yeah, it's already coming around little by little, but it's good.
mm-hmm, yep, definitely a good problem to have.
Mhm, it is.
So,
For sure.
well, if you guys don't have anything, I don't have anything else.
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
I second it.
Okay, we are adjourned. Let me get this.
So this is